Hello, my YouTube family. This is the OG Crypto News Jack coming at you with some juicy news. But before I begin, let me say I'm not a financial advisor. Anything you see or hear in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. Remember to do your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making investment decisions. We're going to begin by looking at the total crypto market cap, and it is 1.23 trillion, and it's down 0.3%. Coming in at number one is Bitcoin at 29,205. Coming in at number two is Ethereum at 1,861. My beloved XRP is number four, coming in at 71 cents. Taking a look at crypto bubbles, we have Mutable as a top gainer, up 12.4%. And it looks like its XDC is a biggest loser, down 6.3%. Looking at the Fear and Greed Index is neutral at 52. Shout out to Digital Perspectives for putting this trade up. Always great for Roz and Layton. Thank you. The SEC fought the law, and the law won. And here is the article. Just going to read the beginning. After 3 years, the cryptocurrency case of the century, SEC versus Ripple, ended victoriously for the people. The U.S. government is supposed to protect consumers and small investors. The case pitted the Securities and Exchange Commission against a leading U.S. crypto innovator. It also tested America's leading financial regulator against 90 years of federal law and jurisprudence. Fortunately, the law won. The ruling by Judge Annalisa Torres of the Southern District of New York schooled the SEC in the law that created the agency and leaned into the 1946 Howey Supreme Court decision that defines the SEC authority. A security under the Howey test exists only when there is an investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. Hence, most of the purchases of XRP cryptocurrency were not securities trade. Boom. Love to see that. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Mr. Man. The on and off ramps for MONEYGRAM are going mainstream. No fees through to June 2024. This will definitely play a role in assisting people struggling due to higher cost of living and from issues due to weather who need currency fast. Let me play the video.
Or into the specifics of the integration. Again, for anyone not familiar, this is powered via Stellar's on and off ramp API, SEP24, and the settlement asset for this transaction is Stellar USDC. Stellar USDC is front-ended a bit in the flow, so your users will see USDC, as you can see up on the screen here, for the cash in and for the cash out, but we don't always expect it to be the destination asset. We consider this a cash to crypto play rather than a cash to Stellar USDC play. I also commented briefly on kind of the different use cases for custodial and non-custodial wallets. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there are different onboarding paths for both. Custodial wallets are required to be licensed in the jurisdictions in which they operate this product. Non-custodial wallets do not share that requirement. And then I'd also call out that the KYC is collected by MONEYGRAM via an in-app web view, but we get questions all the time about this. If your user has already submitted KYC once, it will pre-populate going forward, so it should be a really seamless user experience. With that, I will stop talking and I'll kick it over to Mike to announce not one, but two exciting things today. The next slide is going to immediately give away the first thing, but Mike, I'll let you run with it.
Thanks, Tom. Really pleased to be with everybody at Stellar and all the folks on the call today. There are announced no fees through June of 2024. We are waiving all consumer on-off ramp fees. And then secondly, wallets can now charge a fee, and they have the opportunity to directly monetize the on-off rails. We're excited about this opportunity. We think it's a game changer. We think it gives you an opportunity that you haven't had before. We're happy to introduce it through June of 2020.
Or into these.
That's nice. Love to see the crypto space growing. Okay, shout out to Mr. Man. Amended Basel III requirements for golding reserves. This is implemented as of July 27, 2023. It says here, under the new rules, banks are required to hold physical gold or other liquid assets for an amount equal to at least 85% of the value of unallocated gold on their books. Things are going good. Okay, shout out to Tony Edwards from the Thinking Crypto podcast. He writes, Red Bill Foster, he's another clown because he states that he equates crypto self-custody with support of fentanyl trafficking. I do not know what these clowns are thinking. Are they really that stupid? And if they are, that's sad. These lawmakers are in charge of making laws that they have no knowledge of this crypto industry, and they're making laws on things that they do not understand, or are they corrupt? It's one or the other. They're either that stupid or they're corrupt. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, shout out to John D. And he put out this tweet in regards to Roger Guru's tweet that Sang Bagman Fried donated $93 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians. Today, the U.S. government dropped a political campaign finance criminal charges against SBF. And he writes, and people wonder why the American public lacks trust in government. And on that same note, here is Chad Steingraber, U.S. tax money sent to Ukraine. Ukraine sends that money to FTX. SBF donates that money to the DNC. Rep. Maxine Waters, Senator Warren, Nancy Pelosi got a big old chunk of that. Criminals. And if that's the case, I agree 100%. Shout out to the Bitcoin magazine. They're the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, in 2022. The optimal Bitcoin allocation is a large 84.9%. And as you can see, the things have changed. First it was 1%, and now it's almost 85%. Big difference. Okay, shout out to 801 XRP. From the High Court of the Republic of Singapore, crypto assets have been labeled personal property. The court says crypto is movable property and defines movable property to include cash, debt, deposits of money, bonds, shares, or other securities, memberships in clubs or societies, and cryptocurrency or other digital currency. The whole world is going in the right direction. Okay, shout out to Weezy. He put out, Bank of America says it's difficult to determine implications of the Ripple ruling. Leading financial institution, Bank of America, said it's difficult to determine the impact of the SEC Ripple ruling on the United States crypto space. And that's a little bit off as far as I'm concerned, because to me, the ruling was crystal clear. XRP, the token itself, is not a security, as per Judge Annalisa Torres. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Jack Straw. He writes, this guy is an ex-banker for big banks in USA. Listen to him when wealth transfer will happen. For all the people out there looking for when moon, here you may have your answer.
That we could possibly hit the point of the wealth transfer beginning this month. I realize there's only 11 days left. It's not a lot of time, but at the movement that this is moving in terms of activity and what's being exposed, things could move very rapidly. What I do expect in terms of some of the historical assets and revaluation of currencies is that some of that will take place during the quiet time. In other words, when EBS happens, there's going to be stay in your homes. There's going to be 10 days of communication blackout, or at least that's what we're hearing. And there could be during that time, even appointments being made and transactions being done very quietly in the background. This will be all with heavy NDAs. No one's supposed to talk about the transactions, talk about where they get their money or anything like this. It's going to take some time to work through that. I think between now and let's say into September, maybe late September, so the next 2 months plus, we could be seeing those things take place in the background. I think by the time we get into late September, it's going to be publicly in the face of everyone. Hey, there's a financial change occurring here. I hate putting dates to anything, and I want to just put a window out there. It is a 2023 thing, and this is all subject to change at any given day. So, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, well, don't freak out. It is unfolding, and it will happen.
So there you go. When moon? I don't know, but according to this gentleman, 2023, sometime this year. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Cowboy Crypto. He writes, we've got 2 who announced projects and 5 under NDAs. And this is Anthony Welfare. Let me play the video.
So what are we learning? So we've got 2 who announced projects, and then we've got 5 under NDA. Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan is a real CBDC, so there's a central bank, and they've issued a currency, and that's very much at decent stages at the moment. And Palau is actually a US dollar stablecoin. So Palau has its own government, but no central bank, so they use the US dollar. So we're issuing, on the public blockchain, on the public XRP ledger, a USD stablecoin for this country to use. That's actually quite interesting for innovation, because there's other things can be done with that.
Palau is issuing a dollar stablecoin on the XRP ledger. You just heard it out of Anthony Welfare's mouth.
So there you go. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Katie Long. She writes, the seal officially broken. The Fed now faces 3 lawsuits over Fed master accounts in the 2nd, 9th, and 10th circuits. See snippets from the newest one filed yesterday. 3 lawsuits in 3 different circuits. I'll leave it to the lawyers to explain their significance. And you know what? It's good to see industry leaders fighting back, not just laying down. They are fighting back for this government overreach. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Michael Branch. He writes, Ripple News, 2024 U.S. presidential candidate predicts XRP to dethrone Bitcoin. And this is a daring forecast that's creating waves in the crypto world. 2024 U.S. presidential candidate Patrick Riley predicts that XRP, the native cryptocurrency of the XRP ledger, to overthrow Bitcoin's dominance in the space. That's what he is predicting. Okay, moving on. Shout out to Crypto Law. They write, as Gensler read the Howey decision, 1, he has no jurisdiction over assets or asset classes, only sales. 2, Howey says explicitly that it doesn't matter if an offer is speculative or not in determining if it's a security. Number 3, Howey gives no authority to regulate blind bid transactions like in exchanges. None. You're out of arguments. Let me play the video.
A different topic, which has gotten a lot of attention lately, crypto. Specifically, a ruling that was made in the Ripple case that XRP is only a security when sold to institutional investors, not so with retail investors? I know you've previously said you were disappointed by that ruling. The SEC has also said that it intends to seek further review. So does that mean you are going to appeal it? Can you elaborate on your thoughts around that ruling?
Kaylee, great question. But the commission, I'm one of 5 commissioners. The commission has not acted on that. And if the staff makes a recommendation, we'll have a discussion of it, and we'll take it up then. But I don't really have anything more for you for that.
In the meantime, as we wait for this, what does it mean for your efforts around crypto, for your efforts to try to protect the consumer in these areas? Does it complicate it?
Look, this field of crypto investing, a lot of investors should be aware it's not only a highly speculative asset class, it's also one that they currently should not assume that they're getting the protections of the securities laws, even though the securities laws apply to many of those tokens without prejudging any one. But you as investors are not getting the full, fair, and truthful disclosure. And the platforms, the intermediaries, are doing things that we would never in a day allow or think the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ would do. The platforms often are commingling and trading against you and have market makers that are on the other side of your trades. And we don't allow that in the rest of our securities markets. And the securities laws are there to protect you. And that's right now, this is a field rife with fraud, rife with hucksters. And there are good faith actors as well, but there are far too many that aren't.
I don't know why every time I hear this man speak, I have to fight a strong urge to vomit. Okay, moving on. Shout out to XRP News. 2021 Central Bank of France eyes XRP as the basis for digital euro. One of the major European central banks is eyeing XRP as a potential platform for issuing a digital euro. And here we have XRP Darren. Right, so it was a pleasure speaking to Jay. That's Jay Hunter over here. He is a digital residency office director, fintech project manager, and this is in the Palau Ministry of Finance. He is one of the project managers for Palau's GovCoin. If this is successful, the IMF, BIS, central banks will be looking at this very closely, and money on public ledgers is how the game changes. Let me play the video.
The Fed or Treasury have a say in what's going on?
Yes, of course. We're subject to the FAFTA, and there's annual, or I think every 2 years, our Financial Institutions Commission has to file different reports and things of that nature. Of course, there's 2 local banks, or 2 U.S. banks that have branches.
The Fed or Treasury have a say in what's going on?
Yes, of course.
Okay, everything is moving in the right direction. Central banks lining up, CBDCs on XRP ledger, and before you know it, the switch will be flipped. Well, okay, fam, that's going to do it for today's video. If you just found this video to be helpful, would you please smash the like and subscribe? I would really appreciate it, and it doesn't cost you anything. Thank you much in advance. And the words of Snoop Dogg, keep your mind on your money on your mind. Peace out, man.